Ile-Ife. I am Ile-Ife Jimini Ray.
I am Ile-Ife Tegunshe.
And you were tuned into
the best,
the greatest
podcast
on the planet Earth.
Let's Talk IFA.
Ashe why. Ashe why. Pay homage in the name of Olodumare and the ancestors.
Ashe wow.
As usual, we pray that everybody is doing well.
Ashe.
We pray for you and your families.
Ashe.
We thank you. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Today's podcast, we are going to continue with the reading of the year, the Idafa of the year from Ile-Ife. Itase. We're going to continue with the full reading, the proper reading with the information that came directly from Ile-Ife, Araba Agbaye, and all of the priests and priestesses that helped on the interpretation of the reading. So the divination came with Oturupan Meji or Logbon Meji. It came in Ire Aiku, which is positive blessings of long life and longevity. So this is part 2. We just did part 1 before. If you haven't seen part 1, please make sure you go back and check that out. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with no further ado. Number 4 on this is heritage preservation. I let my brother take it away.
Heritage preservation. So Ifa says, people shall call upon the Orisha of their forefathers, and people who are told to get initiated into Ifa should not delay it this year. Ifa says there will be a lot of blessings for the Ifa initiates. Everybody must appease her Ifa with a goat. So, heritage and preservation. What does that mean? It stood out in here where Ifa says, appease the Orisha of their forefathers. And we know that, when we're talking about appeasing the Orisha of their forefathers, traditionally, families, because as you know, African people at one time before slavery, we were, we had large families, and families were together, and every family had a particular Orisha that they worshiped. You had the Ogun people, family who may have been ruled by Ogun. Most likely they were the hunters. You had family Orisha or families who Orisha were ruled by Obatala and so on. And so those Orisha, if you don't know the Orisha of your forefathers, it's very important that you know that. One of the things that we do is we do a roots reading, and in that roots reading, it will tell you the Orisha of your family. That's important. Because the Orisha of your family helps to keep the tradition and the heritage of the family together. So this is what Oturupan Meji is saying, to hold the family together. Families went and appeased at a certain time. They went and appeased the Orisha of their family, or they may have had a shrine on a compound or a temple of that Orisha of the family on their compound. So when the family gathered, they went and honored and gave praise to that Orisha of the family for the protection of the family. Ashe. So this is what the Odu is recommending for all Ifa devotees this year.
Ashe.
Ashe.
this is deep, y'all. Let's not let this go over our heads, right? Because it seems like it's very simple and to the point, but this is very powerful what this Ifa is saying. Considering where we are right now, as melanated people, on the planet, and also as the group of us that identify as Ifa, Orisha, children of Ifa and children of the Orisha. If you haven't had your roots reading done, you can reach out, LetsTalkIFA@gmail.com, or send us a DM.
Sure.
Like the Baba said, we can find out what was the patron Orisha of your family on your mother's and your father's side, right? Which can be the same or totally different from your own personal Orisha, right? You need to find out what Orisha kind of ruled your family lineage on your mother's and your father's side. Is very important. Again, this Ifa is saying that people that are told to get initiated to Ifa should not delay it this year. Peace Ifa with the goat and call upon the Orisha of their forefathers, right? So the only way you can do that is to find out who were the Orisha of your forefathers, who were the main Orisha that your family venerated, right? To kind of watch over that, kind of ruled over the bloodline. So we'll go into number 2 of there's something. We're going to number 2 of what's it? Family.
It's heritage and preservation.
Yeah, heritage and preservation. So we'll go into the next verse of Ifa. Ifa says people should stop syncretizing Ifa with alien practices. People should stop bowing to the gods of the strangers and stay within the spirituality of the Oduduwa people. Ifa says many are not having peace of mind and they are experiencing calamity upon calamity because they have abandoned their heritage. People who are in foreign faiths should revert to the Oduduwa indigenous faith for the comfort of life and peace of mind. On this, Ifa says when one dies, he or she becomes an ancestor. Okunrin Hidigba Lotiba Ohun Irahun Wolelo. Ifa message to Awere Megun, who was born into a family where indigenous practice is prominent, who was born into a family where Orisha practice is prominent, who later turned against his ancestors, who later turned against his ancestral Orisha. Owere Megun, the day you bow down for another person's ancestor, you are doomed.
Yeah, I think this one here.
Meji,
this is real deal.
Heavy.
It's real. This is real deal because this is our life work. This is the life work of our elders who came before us.
This is the vision coming to fruition, full circle. This Ifa.
This is what our elders talked about years ago. This is one of the reasons Oyotunji was established. This is a reason why you have so many Orisha Iles in the diaspora and abroad. For this particular reason, I don't know if every Ile is following that mission, which is being said. However, this is the mission that our elders and the vision that our elders had, wanted to see. And so Tudupon Meiji is bringing us back to that because a lot of times, we can get caught up into the beauty of this culture and the materialism of it and forget the mission of saving our people from worshiping foreign ancestors and foreign deities that are not theirs. You will never, ever be prosperous, wealthy, have peace of mind, be in comfort if you are worshiping an ancestor of another race. We don't knock other races in their way, in their history. But for African people, we have to go back to traditions of our people. We have to worship our heroes, our communal heroes that fought to keep the traditions alive. This is what we have to do. That knowledge and that wisdom that our elders have passed on to us, they want us to continue that mission. And so here we go. Otudu Palmeji is laying it out flat. African people in the diaspora, African people all over the world, go back to the heritage, the traditions of your ancestors. I'm going to say your ancient ancestors.
Yeah, I say. Yeah, this is a touchy subject because one thing you're not going to tell people about is their religion, So here's what I would say for our brothers and sisters that choose the expression of Christianity or Islam or whatever other foreign religion outside of the spiritual system of your own tradition and of your own ancestors. I would kind of give a challenge to say at the minimum, just try to come back home and embrace the spiritual aspect of your culture. If you still feel like, you like to go to church or the mosque or whatever, as long as you're taking care of your spiritual obligations culturally, then you can kind of get a pass for that. Like, it's okay. Some of the biggest voodoo people went to Catholic Church because that's just what they wanted to do. But they understood the assignment, right? It was, their ancestral traditions first and then church. It's your culture first and then the mosque or the church or whatever, right? So this is a warning from IFA that is spelling it out right here. And it's saying that people are facing a lot of calamity and not having peace of mind because of this reason. So you can, you can choose to respect that or follow it or believe it or not. Nobody is here to try to force anybody to do anything. We don't shoot the messengers. We're just the messengers of Ifa. This is what Olodumare is saying for our people. So that's it.
And again, we're not here. We're not putting no religion, faith down at all. We're just saying for our people,
just lift us up.
Go back to the ways of your ancestors, the ways of your forefathers.
Bandy.
So we're going to move on to 3.
Number 3. Yep, still under the same topic. Number 3.
There is the need to give due respect to the Babalawo and the community, no matter the age. Orumila says that every Babalawo is a representative of him, and people should give the honor that they would give to Orumila to every Babalawo. Also, Ifa says that all Babalawo should respect their position and play the fatherly role they are expected to play in the community. Otudu Palmeji also advises that men should be responsible and take good care of their children. This is necessary so that they will have responsible children to survive them. Ifa advised that men who have children outside should not allow the children to suffer neglect or leave only the mother to bear the burdens of taking care of the children. On this, Ifa says, no wise person has the skill to tie water with cloth. No knowledgeable person can know the number of sand grains on the ground. No traveler can reach where the road ends. No tree climber can go beyond the leaves. Ifa's revelation to Orumila, when he would give birth to children and name all of them Baba, Father. Whoever you see, you can call Baba. Orumila has gone to Olokun's abode without return. Whenever you see, can be called Baba. Wow.
So
interesting.
We keep this into perspective. Ifa is saying that whomever you see, right? Because it mentioned this in here, and this is important. People, not just anybody just claiming to be a Babalawo, but the people in the community that are respectable, that are responsible, that carry themselves, that I'm assured that carry themselves with the due respect. You should respect them as the Babalawo that they are. They should be honored and revered as long as they are upstanding people in the community. So I don't want us to get that twisted, because some people will try to take that and manipulate it and, flip that.
Yeah,
So,
and this verse speaks in volumes to the responsibility of the Babalawo. It kind of wake those who are new, Ile-Ife. It kind of gives you an understanding of the role that the Babalawo in community is supposed to play. This is a no joke title. To have that title as Babalawo or Awo, it comes with a great responsibility, and is a great responsibility upon those who are in those positions. And you have to really know that everywhere you go, you have to walk with pride, but you have to also walk with humility. You have to be able to aid those in need. You have to be able to talk to those who need guidance. You got to be able to take the hand of those who don't know where they're going. You have to be able to take their hand and take them in the right direction. So the role of a Awo, the role of a Babalawo is very important. It's not just about sitting on the mat doing a reading and sitting on the mat doing Ebori Ru. It goes, I don't want to say it goes beyond that, because that's part of the heavy work of the Babalawo, but just being a pillar of good character and a pillar of responsibility is the work of an Awo as well.
I say.
So,
This old dude, before we jump to the next one, it's obviously it's all also talking about the importance of family, the importance of the role that men play. It's saying that, let me reiterate what this Ifa is saying. It's saying that for advising the men that should be responsible and take good care of their children. This is so that they will have responsible children to survive them. So we're talking about continuity. We're talking about sustainability of what's going to, we have to start focusing now, like we said before, on the youth and that are going to come up behind us, for all the men. Like if I said, if you have children outside your home, do not allow the children to suffer neglect, and don't leave the mother to bear the burden of taking care of the children. So if you are in that situation and you are hearing this, this is a good time and a good year to reconnect with the kids if you can, and do what you can, because we do understand that certain situations can be a little complicated, where you may be getting some interference from different places trying to do that. And for those of you who just aren't doing it, please heed the advice of Ifa. And it's time to do that now this year. Okay,
there's an epidemic of that going on, because a lot of times you got to realize, it's the men who do have children want to take care of their children. There are situations where the ex won't allow them to see the child for whatever reason. So we have that plague or epidemic going on in the world too. And you have men who are not emotionally balanced or capable to handle that. And so, as we just saw in the news, or that a man, because he couldn't see his kids, he was going through some things with his ex-wife and his girlfriend, and they threatened that he would never see the kids and things of that sort. He ended up taking the women of the children out, and then himself. So there's a lot of imbalance going on in the world, and that's why it's very important to have some type of culture to keep you grounded and some type of spirituality to keep you balanced. Because there are situations where you have people, they can't even take somebody keeping their kids away from them. And this is male and female. You know, and so we have to recognize that and pay attention to that. So,
and you know, of course, you on the flip side of the coin, you also have the epidemic of where you know they have the men that just aren't.
Yeah, they're not
that
capable.
They're checked out. They're not checking on the kids. They're not taking care of the kids. They're not, you know, co-parenting very well. So all, you know, for the men and the women in this situation, please try to work together to heed the advice of IFA, okay?
Yeah. Simple communication.
I say.
You know, it don't take money all the time. Just simple communication.
So number 4, under heritage and preservation, IFA says that the devotees of IFA have 2 major enemies. The enemies are trying to destroy them. However, IFA has promised that no matter the degree of threat, devotees of IFA can never be overpowered by the enemies. IFA says that devotees of IFA will soon be congratulated. Ebo will be made with 2 he-goats, cocks, palm oil, money, coconut, and more palm oil. On this, IFA says, Ajalu yeke yeke yeke, adifa fon epon, lojo ton be larin ota. Ajalu yeke 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 cast IFA for epon the scrotum when it was amidst enemies. Right thigh is an enemy of Epon. Left thigh is an enemy of Epon. Don't you know that Epon always encounter danger? Epon, the scrotum cannot burst. So what this IFA is saying is that the way I'm interpreting it is saying that IFA says that the devotees of IFA have 2 major enemies. That could very well be taken as Christianity and Islam. The aspects of those organized religions that are attacking IFA. That's how I'm taking it. But anyway, IFA is saying that basically in this Odu, it is giving us victory and protection over the enemies that are in our midst, okay? And it gives the Ebo, you know, for this as well. So that one is pretty straightforward, you know. As devotees of IFA, you know, the IFA is just telling us that we're going to be victorious over our enemies that are in our midst. Okay, so number 5, we're going into the protection and security of lives. All right.
So IFA says under protection and security of lives, IFA says people need to make a bar to escape dangers. Also, there's a need to make a bar for people who are in captivity to escape or be rescued. A bar is to be made with a he-goat, cock, a big rat, palm oil, solid pap, money, gin, and cola nuts. On this, IFA says, Kudu, 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 the priest, Meiji Jolo, cast IFA for Meiji Jolo, the scrotum, when coming to the earth. It was asked to make Ebal, it complied. Epon always encounters danger. Epon cannot burst. Let us greet Epon and congratulate it. Show. Wow.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory, straightforward.
Verse 2, under protection and security of lives. The Logbon Meiji or Tudupon Meiji is warning people to be vigilant. We should not trust people. The powerful people should refrain from torturing or killing the powerless. Ifa says hidden murderers will be exposed and people will escape assassination. There is a need to make Ebo with 3 cocks, a long stick, needles, and a hammer. The story is about Ekun the leopard, who was planning to kill Ifadere. The leopard pretended that it died, and they invited Ifadere to come and do the funeral rites. Ifadere went for divination and was told to be careful. Ifadere got there and did as the Babalawo told him. That was why it escaped the trap set by the leopard. After the Ebo, Ogun will be appeased. On this, Ifa says, the sages do funeral rites of their funeral sages. The cheetah does funeral rites of the leopards. Ija lekesi, I greet you. Ija lakesi, I answer you. I answer you to survive. I answer you to live long. Ifa revelation to Ekun the leopard. Ifa revelation to Ifadere. I knock the door. Jara Jara, who have you come to weep for? Jara Jara, who have you come to mourn? Jara Jara, whose funeral rite have you come to perform? Jara Jara, I have come to weep for Ekun the leopard. Jara Jara, I have come to mourn Ekun the leopard. Jara Jara, I have come to perform the funeral rite of Ekun the leopard. Jara Jara, come inside to weep. Come inside to mourn. Come inside to perform the funeral rite. It is your brother you have come to mourn. Your brother is dead. Enter to perform the ritual so that you return home in time, so that you go home to face your own farming work. Jara Jara.
Jara Jara.
So, this Ifa, again, is warning us to be vigilant, to not trust people, and just to use your Ori when it comes to trusting people, okay? And certain situations, check with Ifa before you go and meet people in certain places or do certain things. Be careful. People with hidden agendas that want to, just talking about, murderers and assassination. And it's talking about deception, right? Where, like, a setup. Be careful of people trying to set you up. That's what this E5 is kind of saying. So, yes, E5 is saying that it's going to give us protection. From enemies and from, like, all this stuff we know is going on out here. You got a lot of stuff going on. People disappearing. You got people dressing up as ICE trying to abduct women. You got the organ trafficking. You got sex trafficking. So just, be very vigilant this year. And it's saying that Ogun, in this particular verse, Ogun would be appeased and make Ebo to Ogun to protect us, okay?
Sure, wow.
Verse 3, under protection and security of lives.
Verse 3, Ifa warns us against betraying our brothers. Every betrayer, traitor, and mischievous individual will fall into the trap set by himself, herself. Ifa says evil people who constitute a danger will be exposed in the community. On this, Ifa says, friends mourn each other. Ifa revelation to Ifadere when going to do funeral rites of a coon in the forest. Whether he dies or not, look at a coon, a mischievous animal. So if I'm saying here that we have to be very careful with betrayers this year and traitors. So, I think this will do is kind of straightforward in this orientation that however, they are around, your traitors can sleep in the same house you sleep in. So just be very vigilant of those who may turn on you. Be vigilant who you talk to. Be vigilant who you tell your business to. Just be aware, heed this warning, because people are looking to start trouble and to do mischievous things, as Yodu have spoken. So.
Ashe, Ifa is again is warning us. So first of all, just to recap it, Ifa is warning us against betraying our own brothers. Okay, so that's number one. Because that the betrayer or the traitor is going to fall into the trap that they set for the other person. Okay. And Ifa is also saying that evil people who constitute a danger will be exposed in the community this year. So those are the three real takeaways from that.
And remember this, if you being mischievous or you causing trouble, you're only setting the trap for yourself.
For yourself, I say.
And that's real deal.
Now, verse 4, protection and security. Ifa says people who have foster children need to make ebo. They also need to be very careful in their dealings with the foster children. Ifa warns that people should seek divine guidance before going into adopting children whose parents are not relatives to them to avoid fight. Ebo will be made with 3 cocks, a he-goat, a big rat, palm oil, money, and gin. On this, Ifa says, Oturu pon meji kas Ifa for Pepe. When Pepe wanted to adopt the child of Aja as a foster child, whoever heard the prescribed ebo should comply. Okay, so Ifa is warning people, if you have foster children that you've adopted or stepchildren, it's all the same thing. If you have children in the household that are not your biological child, to be careful how you're dealing with the children, seek guidance, to avoid fighting and confrontation with the stepchildren or with the children through marriage. Some people don't like to say stepchildren, but because, once you're together, they're all our children, but this is just a word to denote, to say, okay, there is a difference, say that these are not my biological children. So, and that could also, avoiding fight could also be talking about everything that's attached to those children, right? Which is also their father or mother or, just that whole situation, okay? Ifa is saying to avoid fights when it comes to those things. So this is the last one we're going to do for the night. Now we are on economy.
Economy, everybody's favorite. Let's talk economy. So this is what Ifa says on economy. Ifa says for economic growth of the land, people should invest more on farming. Farming will yield great profit. People with other professions should consider combining farming with their profession. Ifa advises that people should consider using the portion of land in 16s, like 16 plots or acres, in order to have a good harvest and profit. Ebo should be made with 8 pigeons, gin, honey, money, palm oil, cornmeal, and cola nuts. On this, Ifa says, do not greet me again. You do not have a clean mind. Your attitude is bad. Not to meet an awo at home makes the awo poor. Missing targets makes a hunter wretched. Poor harvest makes a farmer bankrupt. Ifa's revelation to Orunmila when he was going to cultivate farm beside the river. He was told that he would come across fortune on the 16th heap. A priest is going to plant yam tubes during the rainy season. Getting good harvest should be the result. Awo, the priest has planted money today. Awo, the priest has planted yam tuber in the raining season. Awo, the priest has planted money. So, Ifa says again, farming is a big part of our culture. It's a big part of Ifa.
I say.
The spirituality of Ifa, the culture of Ifa, agriculture, farming is a big part of it. And so Ifa is advising us this year to invest into land and use that land for farming.
I say.
It's very, very important that we start to buy land and we start to have land so that we can grow our crops. If you look at the world today, food today is high. So we should be thinking on a larger scale. It should be groups getting together, putting their monies together to buy land so that we can, grow our food on our land.
I say.
So that we are able to feed ourselves, our families, our community.
I say.
So,
verse 2. People who are into agriculture and those who are planning to move from another profession to agriculture should make ebo to have a good harvest. Ifa says they should be ready to employ any available modern technology for better harvest and production. On this, Ifa says, the wise person's means of livelihood is his wisdom. A stupid person cannot maintain his or her own life. Ifa, revelation to Orunmila, when he was going to have a new settlement, all and sundry come and meet us amongst fortunes. Okay, so again, it's just emphasizing the previous verse. It's just saying that it'll be a good move to go into farming, even if it's just on a minor level. And Ifa is saying to use the number 16 to improve your harvest.
That's important.
So in other words, like if you just doing something small in the backyard and you're growing and farming, you can use 16 buckets, or to grow the food in, or 16 raised beds, or growing 16 different things, or if you have 16 acres or whatever it is, don't forget to use that number 16. It's going to increase the harvest. So verse 3 under
economics,
economy. We're on verse 3 now.
Verse 3, Ifa says people should learn to associate with people who are more knowledgeable than they are. And people who have left brilliant people should try to make friends with them again. The leaders and policymakers should not let experts in each field behind in the process of making policies. On this, Ifa says, no wise person has the skill to tie water with cloth. No knowledgeable person can know the number of sand grains on the ground. No traveler can reach where the road ends. No tree climber can go beyond the leaves. Ifa revelation to the 400 Imale on the right side. Ifa revelation also to the 200 Imole on the left side. When they said they would not relate with Orunmila any longer. So, my people, very, very important here. Two, Ifa says, you know, what I'm getting from this is, you know, this is, and I think we said this in the very, very first podcast we did on Otudu Parmeji, when we talked about, you know, Otudu Parmeji being the faculty of intelligence, right? And it's very important for us to surround ourselves with knowledgeable people that can teach us something, you know, that can guide us, that can pass on whatever wisdom and whatever knowledge that they have, if they're willing to do so. Let's be there. Let's accept the wisdom of our elders. Let's not look down on our elders, but let's hold our elders high. Let's treat them right. Let's embrace our elders because they have way more knowledge than we have, and we should be humble when we are around our elders.
Ashe, yes. Like the Baba just said, this verse of Ifa is pretty straightforward. You know, it's saying to acknowledge and respect and hang out and be around those who are more knowledgeable than us. In order to do that, of course, you have to have humility. You know what I'm saying? You have to get rid of your ego. And also for our leaders, or if you have a business or whatever, or, you know, for example, don't you hate when you're at the job and people all the way up there, they make policies without consulting the people that are actually doing the work.
Yes.
So you like, why did they decide to do this way? This makes no sense. And they don't get it though, because they're not down here. They're not like boots on the ground, and they didn't consult with us before they made these decisions. So this Ifa is also saying, where it says the leaders and policymakers should not leave experts in each field behind in the process of making policies. Check in with these people that can help you make better decisions and policies in whatever environment that you are in, okay? So that's going to end part 2 of the Idafa, the reading of the year for the world from Ile-Ife, from Itase. We will return with part 3, and we will conclude this. Please reach out to us at LetsTalkIFA@gmail.com if you have any questions, or if you want to get your Idafa Idile, your roots reading done. Other than that, we love you. We thank you. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. I am Ifa Jiminire.
I am Ifa Tegunshe.
And you were tuned into
the best,
the greatest
podcast
on the planet Earth.
Let's Talk Ifa.
Ashewa. Odabo for now, y'all. Ire lopo akbo ato asuri wori wofun. Alafia.
Odabo.
Ashewa. Odabo.